Well, thanks for having me. I love your choice of attire. I can always pick you out of a crowd. Well, thanks Alice and Jim for asking me to do this. And yeah, so my name's John Conley. I've been a chef and restaurateur in Flagstaff for 27, almost 28 years at Salsa Brava and Fat Olives. I know it seems like a long time. And as Jim was saying, I was asked by Guy Fieri, a friend of mine. I did another show for him earlier on called Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. And then I would go on, and he invited me to be the opening act on his road show. And so we had developed a good relationship there. And we go out every year for his birthday. It's called Festivus. It's a 4-day event in Santa Rosa. And when I was there, we were cooking in his backyard. Have you seen the show Guy's Big Bite? So that set is in his backyard. And he asked two of us if we would cook for about 50 people that day, and about 150 showed up. And I was running the oven, and somebody from Alaska showed up with 100 pounds of king crab legs. We didn't know, well, it was just showed up and we weren't prepared, and I was running the wood-fired oven. And so I put them all in the wood-fired oven, and the guy was watching, and he thought, oh my God, there's like $3,000 in king crab. And I said, just watch. And they came out beautiful. And then he pulled me aside and he said, when are you going to go home? And I said, I'm going home tomorrow. And he said, cancel your flight. There's a show I want you to do. So, hence I got on Guy's Grocery Games. And so, just a little bit about that. It's built in an industrial park. And it's top secret because they don't want people to know. So they drove us out and we walked in. It's literally a 60,000 square foot, full-blown grocery store. There's a crew of 125 people. It's about a $250,000 production a day. They're rotating proteins, they're rotating fruits and vegetables, and all that goes and is donated at the end of the day or the 2 days of shelf life. So I walk in and there's 3 other chefs that I have to compete against that are from across the country. And there's 4 rounds. And each round you're given a challenge by Guy Fieri, and it could be anything like, here's all the ingredients for cherry pie, and make it into the most delicious chicken dinner you can make. So it was really challenging. I was surprised at just really how hardcore it was. And there's no prompting. You walk in, you put your apron on, and you go. So I'm going to take this out because I'm more comfortable that way.
Okay.
So we get going, and long story short, I delivered a crushing blow and won. To get to the, and that was really great. I won $16,000. At the end, if you're the last man standing or a woman standing, you're given a list of 10 ingredients. Each ingredient is worth $2,000. You're given 2 minutes to run through the store and get it. How many people have seen Guy's Grocery Games? Okay, so some of you have seen it. At the end of that, like I said, I won $16,000. And as Jim said, I wanted to have that matched and turned into $32,000. Now to back up a little bit, I've been happily married to my wife Genevieve for 23 years. We have a 19-year-old daughter, Sage. I have a 16-year-old son, Adam, who was born with trisomy 21, which is the most common form of Down syndrome. He's very involved with Special Olympics. It's just an amazing organization. And then I have a 10-year-old, Ivan. So I knew the financial position of Special Olympics, having participated for so long, and I knew what their budget was and how hard it had become for them to hit that budget. Ironically, as we speak, the team from Flag High and Coconino combined to make a team, and they're on their way to the World Games in LA. 2 months ago, they received a letter of invitation, and they had they had the letter written to decline the offer because they couldn't afford it. So they should be pulling in about 4 o'clock today, and with new shoes and new uniforms, and it's really pretty cool. So to back up, I delivered that crushing blow, and on the 28th of June is when the show premiered. So I spent the week prior to that really trying to determine how I could make it all about me. I wanted to really build this up. So the week prior, I hit every radio station. I got the front page of the paper. I called everybody I know. I made all the contacts I could so that we could have as many eyes on the TV come Sunday night as possible. We filled our restaurant with about 250 people. Those people I selected to come to that had money. Lots of money, some of them. And it was kind of strategic how I did that part of it.
Good.
I didn't know.
That's how it works.
This was by the cup, but I knew the week prior I had to kind of build some momentum. So Sunday came and went. I got as many eyes on the TV as I could, and I woke up Monday morning and I didn't really have a plan. I had no idea. I wish I could tell you I had this, all laid out, but it was about 6 a.m. in the morning, and I'm looking at my Facebook page, and I've got about 2,500 friends on there, and I'm thinking, I got to use this. This is the best way for me to do it. But how am I going to do this? I have a commitment to raise another $16,000, and so I got this harebrained idea, and I typed it all up, and it went something like this. Most of you saw what happened last night. I won $16,000. We need to match that. If you're willing to write a check, I'm willing to drive to wherever you are, pick up the check, take a picture with you, and post it on Facebook. And I read through the post, and I'm thinking, I hadn't sent it yet, and I literally said a little prayer, and I hit send. And within a minute, Patricia Horstman she's a lawyer downtown, had contacted me and said, come to me, I have a check for you. And I said, I'll be there in 5 minutes. By the time I got to her office, I had 4 more places to go. By the end of the week, I had driven over 500 miles, and as we sit here today, we have raised $52,000. Thank you. I wish I could take credit, but it really is, the town of Flagstaff. And I didn't know really what I was doing. I wish I could take total credit. I tried to create, I knew I had to kind of create a brand that would kind of self-populate. I don't know if that's the right terminology, but where I wouldn't have to go and make all the calls, that people would want to do it because of the energy I'd created the week prior, and it's a feel-good thing. And so that's what happened. I took Patricia's picture, and I don't know if you can go to my Facebook, and I think we have 170 pictures now. I called upon, I didn't have to call too many people, but those that I did, I'm often on the other side, having been in business for so long. I called like 4 people, and I said, hey, here's the deal. I need money, I need a lot of money, and I need a lot of money fast, and get your checkbook out, and I'm coming to you right now. And the conversation literally went like that. And I got no no's. And I've been on capital campaigns where, you get no, you get turned down, and it's exhausting. It's a difficult, your chosen field is you gotta be thick-skinned. I appreciate all you do and the passion that you have for what you do, because you get that no, and I didn't get that on this kind of a week marathon. I had, again, no idea what I was signing up for, but I think that you can get your goals. I can reach my goals. I think the amount of time it takes to reach my goals are directly proportionate to the amount of passion that I have. And I think that can be said with everything in life, whether I'm trying to model for my children, my employees. I know what it feels like to have that 1,000-pound phone, and the amount of passion that you have, that phone feels like a feather. I simply was not going to take no. I had a commitment, and I was going to do this. I had no idea it would go to $52,000. As we were hitting 45, I thought, and we were losing steam, I thought I got to make a couple more phone calls. And so I went to some of my buddies. I graduated from Brophy College Prep down in Phoenix. And some of those guys have gone on to do huge, huge things. So I called them and I said, I need money. I need a lot of money, and I need a lot of money fast. And my goal was $50,000, and so Julie Van Neal's like, you tell me when you're done, you know, when you're totally exhausted, because I was cooked. And whatever I need to make it up to make 50K, just let me know. And I said, I'm done. I'm truly done. You know, my wife was like, where are you? And so I called Dooley, and he said, I'll make this happen. And waiting in the wings as I speak, there's another donor that I think is going to take us to 75,000. That's 3 times the annual budget for Special Olympics.
Wow.
Yeah. And I keep going, you know, a couple people, I really appreciate being able to speak publicly about it and share the story, because I think, and I spoke a little bit about, you know, the passion and what that can do, and when I lack that and what happens. And so I've been thinking and actually journaling a lot about this, like, what is passion, and how do I get passion? And how do we all get passion as a result of what we do? Because we all represent different entities that are important to us. And sometimes we lose that passion. And for me, it's really in my story and it's in my experience. I have stood at the finish line of a 50-yard dash at Special Olympics, where it takes the athlete 8 minutes to cross the 50-yard line. And sometimes they're crawling. And when they hit the finish line, you know, the crowd goes freaking wild. And to look down and see that athlete and the joy in their face and what they just accomplished, and see that little sparkly medal, it's really easy to find passion in that. And I try to share that with my kids about what it means to be passionate and what that can do for you, and how to model that for them. There's just too many takers in the world, and I want to raise givers, and I think teaching them how to be passionate about things, no matter what that is going to be the foundation for my little 10-year-old as he watches me and what I do. And he's all eyes. He's like a sponge right now. And I've tried to bring him on this journey as much as I can. Adam, he's just all about love. Sage, my 19-year-old, she's got the bug now, and she's up in Denver, and she's starting to be of service. You know, how do you be of service to others? So it's been a great journey. You know, my hat's off to all of you, because I know what it's like to pick up the 1,000-pound phone, and I know what it is to be told no, 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 and to still push through because you're passionate about what you do, says a lot. And who benefits? You know, God, thousands literally of kids are going to benefit from that 52,000, hopefully 70, and what you do and how many people you impact as a result of your passion and what you do. So my hat's off to you too. And that's kind of my story, and I'm sticking to it. Thank you very much. That was unexpected.
Shoot some still photos as well.
Okay, so I'm hoping that a few of you might have something you'd like to ask John, and Mary is already standing up, ready to go. Here we go, Mary.
Well, mine isn't a question, it's a comment. You know, you talked about us having thick skin. It is because of people like you that our job is so worthwhile and why we do it. Because it means so much to us to be able to work with a donor like you, and the response that you give, that it's what keeps us going. I mean, it is everything to us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Here we go.
Thank you. Great message to us all, and thanks for the witness. And I think on that note, I'd like to ask, is your selfie offer still available for people in this room?
Absolutely, we are always taking donors. Yeah, my phone is right there.
I'm kind of thinking there's a lot of us that are willing to put some cash in his hand, maybe you could do a big group selfie with us.
I would.
We can make sure that.
Yes, and look, I need money, I need a lot of money.
I like the way you play, Paul.
Didn't see that one coming.
So I think you just got a challenge to the challenge. So if you want to participate in this group selfie, we can work that out before we let John get out of here. And if you'd like to get that individual photo, I'm going to speak for John and say he can probably do that for you as well. Okay, here it comes. Here it comes. It's starting up. Why don't you just pile it up on the tables?
I just wanted to say I'm from Flagstaff, and this was such a community event for everybody. It was amazing to see the amazing community that we live in that rallied around John. And I do go to Wine Down Wednesdays. It's pretty awesome. It's a great happy hour for best in town. I wanted you to mention your work with the troops. You didn't mention that today, and I think it's super important. Not only do you do that, but you have done a lot for the troops. So would you mention that too? Because we're super proud of you.
Thank you. So I'm a member of the Mess Lords, and there's 4 of us. There's Panini Pete, there's Stretch, there's Hodad, and then I'm Johnny Brava. Hence Salsa Brava. And we are a group of chefs that we travel all over the world, and we cook for the military through MWR, which is Morale, Welfare, and Recreation through Navy Entertainment, and we go to places like so we've been to Afghanistan and Bahrain and Djibouti, Africa, and Okinawa and Cuba, and I've had the opportunity to land on 3 aircraft carriers and get catapulted off. That was quite exciting. And I get back and my employees are like, "How was your vacation?" I'm like, "Oh my gosh, we just cooked for 30,000 crew in the last 10 days." So it's a lot of work, but it's nothing. You know, we read about it and we see it on TV, and you don't get the full picture. But if you get your boots on the ground in Djibouti, Africa, and you live in a Connex box for 6 months, and you meet a guy who had a baby a week ago that hasn't seen their baby, it really hits home. I mean, the fact that our kids and my kids are going to sleep in a safe country and waking up in a safe country, and how that happens. And so this has been one of the greatest joys of my career, as well as this last 3 or 4 weeks. It was very unexpected, but to be able to give back and be of service is, I think that's something that we all possess. There's no distinction of who gets to do it more or less. We all get to, be of service should we choose. And I said it before, and I don't mean any disrespect, but there really are so many just takers in the world. And I think that if we all were able to be of service, I tell my employees all the time, somebody shows up and their shoulders are down and they're kind of in their pity pot and they can't find gratitude anywhere. And I say, hey, just go 2 blocks behind Salsa Brava at the Flagstaff Family Food Center. Spend 2 hours serving 300 people who can't afford their own food. Go to a Special Olympics event once and you will volunteer for Special Olympics your entire life and you will find gratitude. So it's been a great run. That was a Guy Fieri thing too. He had this going, it was called America Chefs, and he would go out and do aircraft carriers. He got busy. He called the 4 of us and he said, "You want to pick up the baton? It's strictly a service position." And we were like, hell yeah. Like, we get to do what we love to do, which is cook. And we get to travel, and we get to land on aircraft carriers, and I'm like, I'll go, yeah, I'll do that. I'll do it till you figure me out. Yeah. So
you need a sous chef.
Yeah. Oh, my daughter's all over that. But thank you for bringing that up. It's been a lot of fun, the Mess Lords, and you can like us on Facebook.
Mess Lords. I'm going to ask you to add just a little bit to that story. You shared with me there was a specific reason you really don't want to roll down the windows in certain places of the world.
Yeah, there is. There's like Djibouti, Africa, for instance. It's what they call a Class 4 base. It's not a happy place. It's on the Horn of Africa. Somalia is on one side. Just bad mojo going on all around there. There's 7 checkpoints to get in. And then when we were on base, actually, they had caught a Tier 2 terrorist who had made it on. And the minute that the siren came out, they were like, they put a shooter in front of us and a shooter behind us, and they were like, protect the chefs, you know, protect the chefs. But on a really serious note, we left the base in a convoy to go to a very well reinforced place we were staying. We pulled up to a light, and there was a lady, there were many ladies standing there holding babies and begging. And I rolled down, I learned it, I made a mistake and rolled down the window, and within seconds that baby was in my lap, and the mom was running away. And the driver was like, don't open the windows. And so he got out, found the mom came back, we gave the baby back, but it happens just like that. You know, there's a drug there called CAT, and it's actually supplied by the president and his wife, and it's at 5 o'clock in the evening, the CAT, K-A-T, it's kind of a weed that you eat, and it's a hallucinogenic, and they have the entire country addicted to it. And so from 5 o'clock on, it's no hold bar, but yeah, you know, you stop, you roll your window down, and then there's a little baby in your lap, and it just really brings everything full circle, for sure.
Do we have any more questions? Because if we don't, I have one for you. John. I started out in the introduction indicating that you were a significant philanthropist. Would you tell us a little bit about what it's like when people are coming through your door asking?
Yeah. You know, it's tough. So, you know, because I've been in business a long time, and as you all know, there's kind of a hit list. And I don't know how to say it. We are on the hit list. And, you know, I'll go ahead and share with you all what I shared with you that one day, and I haven't spoken about this.
Excellent.
We've got the same guy who's done our taxes for over 2 decades, 22 years. His name is Ben Stanton. In our last tax fiscal year, he said, here, there's a number you need to know. And you might find this to be a big number, but the fact is, I don't look at it as a good number, and I'll tell you why. And he said, in the course of the time I've been doing all of your taxes, you have given away in cash over $600,000. And that's more than you have saved. And
that's the cash.
That's the cash. There's a lot of in-kind, and I'm not alone. Flagstaff is there are a lot of people in Flagstaff that give. You know, my grandfather said, give until it hurts, and then you give some more. And I believe in karma. And so, you know, we had to develop this means by which we could monitor and organize our charitable giving. And so we came up with a number. And what we did is we just said, okay, we'll do $2,000 a month from Salsa Brava. We'll do $2,000 a month from Fat Olives, and we'll earmark it. So. You come in and see me, you submit a letter. If it has to do with feeding children, educating children, or housing children, it goes in the yes pile. If it's Delta, 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 trying to raise cake money, you know, it goes into the see you later pile. And it allows me, quite frankly, to look people in the eye and say no. Because I've had a real hard time doing that. But to have an organized approach on how we can manage our charitable giving is important, because we have bills to pay as well, and every day, and it looks like this, and there's not a day where we don't, you know, in December, we're asked in excess of $35,000 to $40,000 in giving, and, you know, we have small restaurants, and we can't nearly do that, but on a daily basis, we get somebody coming in and saying, you know, can I have a $50 gift certificate? And most days, there's 2 or 3 or 4, and we have to say no. And I have a paper that I printed up that tells them how we can go about it. Like, look, I love what you're doing. It's important. I know it's important. Let me get you on the books, but our money's earmarked for 11 months. And so if you want to put us on the books next year, go right ahead. Give me the letter. I get to make all those decisions, me and my wife. And then we'll do a call back and say, you know, we're all in. But we've had to develop a means by which to manage our charitable giving. And I've never told that to anybody. As a matter of fact, I think we had that discussion. I said, I just come from my tax guy, and I'm like, I can tell you, but none of us know what dreams are.
There you go, I just outed him on his taxes. Do we have any other questions oh, here we go. We got two, and I saw this hand first.
Well, since I am Flagstaff Family Food Center, I just have to do the shout out because John, while he does do lots of giving, he also does it spontaneously without asking, and he has more than once brought over food hot off his line to our soup kitchen line, and we've been able to serve it nicely. And so, and then he's also done our staff recognition and that kind of stuff. So it just means so much that, you know, he's been able to help us and keep our passion going and keep what we do going. So super grateful for you.
Thank you.
So first off, as a Seton graduate, the brothers and sisters at Ropi would be very proud of you, so shout out for that. How is it, I love the spirit of collaboration you have. How do you inspire philanthropy among your peers? Because it sounds like you've managed to get lots of people. So how do you do that?
I'm not sure if, I think it just self-populated itself. I wish I could say that I had inspired, like, you know, I won a show. I tried to do as much build-up before the show, and I tried to create an environment where people could not want to be a part of it. And some of the calls, it was like, you can't not want to do this. You know, I can tell you today this will be the most important thing you do, and maybe this will be the most important thing you do all year, but you do not want to be left out and writing me a check for $500. And that's how I approached it. But I think once that first check came in and we posted the picture, it just took on a life of its own. I wish I could say, you know, I inspired everybody, but I think they also just wanted to be a part of, and it's Special Olympics. And who didn't want to be a part of Special Olympics?
Well, some of you probably participated in some of the sessions that did include social media. Let me ask you, why did what John did work? Why did it work? Shout it out. Told the story.
From the heart.
From the heart?
He was an example.
An example?
He was already in the social media, so he had contacts.
Absolutely. In the social media, sir?
Well, he had relationships on Facebook and sent that out to.
Absolutely.
I think it was a bit of competition too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, did you see?
She did it, I better do it. Her
I noticed that
got
somebody
it.
gave 2,000 and later in the day somebody gave 4.
It was a financial advisor.
Yeah.
They don't like each other.
It was that open giving and that contagious giving is what happened, is I think everybody saw everybody else, like you said, they could not want to not be a part of that. So so-and-so gave and so-and-so gave and so-and-so gave, so I want to give. So it's that contagious giving that was, that's what.
And he asked.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
He made it easy. Over Laura?
You used multiple outlets. You came at it from all types of media, not just social media. You brought it all at once.
He made a leadership gift himself to start it, and so
Yeah.
he set the tone of philanthropy right out of the gate.
Absolutely.
You know, one thing too was that the state caught on, and they put up a website, the John Conley Matching Fund, and then Good Morning America caught wind of it, and then Channel 3 caught wind of it, and then Channel 15 caught wind of it, and me and my son went on the little junket. You know, we're like, okay, we'll drive there then. And, there, we did, you know, Sonoran Living and Your Life A to Z, and I said, I'll do it, but you got to do it the same day. You know, like, we can't do that. I said, the only way I can do this is if I cook on Your Life A to Z at 9, and then I go to Sonoran, and I'm like, okay, we'll move everything around. And they did it. I was like, wow, all right.
We have another one over here.
I say it's good to do more PR. I just sent your speech to Periscope to a good friend of mine who's the head of PR for Special Olympics. So I'm like, they're going to LA this afternoon. So I got a call from someone.
For those of you who might not be familiar with Periscope, it's Twitter's new live streaming service, and I shot a good portion of John's first half of his speech, and it's already getting picked up.
You know, I have to say too, and so for Pine Forest, I've been on that Capital Came Forever. Alice and Jim came and helped organize this and everything, and then 2 days into this, I got a call from Alice that said, hey, I see what you're doing, we're going to come give you a check. And we sat down, Salsa Brava, they gave me a check, we took a picture, and then they were like, you know, we're gonna turn this thing up. And they did it in 10 minutes. First I had no idea how to do, but you know, in 10 minutes we were everywhere. And And it was amazing to see how I thought I had contacts, but then they got a hold of it, and it got real. I mean, so my hat's off to them. They were a really big support of this too, and I think you know, surround yourself with really good people that are way better than you, that can help pick you up and elevate you, and no social media.
Your passion came from such an authentic place, and I think you invited people into a really authentic connection, and I think people need more of that, and you invited people into an incredible opportunity.
Well, thank you. I mean, I've been involved in fundraising where you mentioned the word authentic, and it's hard. It has been hard for me, and you know, I can speak to myself, but I know, having been involved in somewhere, really that phone feels like 1,000 pounds, and it's, you know, but I found that, you know, I was all in, and I had made a public commitment to, you know, to everybody who saw that around the world. I mean, I've been in Italy and seen it, I've seen Triple G in German, French, Japanese, and so there was a commitment there that I really felt I had to hold up.
You know, and what John's done is created a viral crowdfunded campaign. And with that in mind, I'm going to call out the peeps. Was there anything that you saw in this story that made this thing work that we haven't heard from folks already? Anyone? Or if you hit it all? Wow, the peeps ain't peeping? There you go. All right, we must have hit it.
They taught us
Okay,
well.
so with that, how about a huge round of applause for an amazing guy. Alice reminded me that we have a special gift for our friend John.
So this one is not actually a Jim Anderson photo. This is a Bill Ferris photography photo.
In other words, better.
But since John is so committed to Northern Arizona, it's a photo of the canyon for you to hang somewhere, that, you know, a place of honor, I hope.
Thank you very much. I will.
I have one more question, Jim.
Okay.
Okay, so what is the mechanism by which people contribute? Like, is it just checks to Special Olympics,
So,
you collect them, or
You
how
can
do
go to specialolympics.org, and the John Conley Matching Fund is still there.
Oh, good.
I will take your money today. I had no idea it was going to come to that. But,
He should have known.
and we're kind of hitting the tail end of this, and so I have a few more checks to pick up in Flagstaff. If you're in Flagstaff, oh my gosh, we're really passing this place. There are still some more checks coming in Flagstaff, and I've got a few more to pick up. If you're in Flagstaff, I am more than willing to come to your place and take a picture and put it on Facebook. And you can also friend me on Facebook, John Conley at Flagstaff, and there's some pretty fun pictures on there. So.
And we will get that selfie for you, but we have some very special moments coming up, a little bit more of our program today. So thanks again, John, and I'd like to next continue to collect the money, and we'll set up afterwards, and we'll get those selfies both individually and collectively. And at this point, since we're running a little behind, I'm just going to say...